Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today and Tarot. My name is Mel Rose. This is the Tarot portion of the second half of my daily astrology vlog, which you can check out on my other channel, Astrology Today with Mel Rose. Over there, you'll find a description of the day's astrology as I've spelled it out here. Here, I will discuss the tarot card that sits on the side of the page, and then I'll play another card that, in the context of today's astrology, may just give us something more to think about. So let's get into it. The card that currently sits on the side of the page is the Two of Coins. And the Two of Coins is here because it corresponds in astrology with the first 10 days or the first decan of the sun's transit in the land of Capricorn. Capricorn is an earth sign, and pentacles or coins in tarot are earth element symbolism. And earth element symbolism relates to the physical security that we have in our life, the physical resources that we have, and what use we're willing to put them to create a sense of safety, security, and abundance in our lives. And that's really about, our bodies and our finances, right? If we get right down to it, our bodies, the work we're willing to do with our bodies to create finance so that we can also provide for the other needs, such as a house over our heads, and a car to drive, the clothes we wear, the food that we eat, etc., etc. Okay, so physical resources is what Pentacles is about. And so we come to the Two of Pentacles, and the Two is the beginning of the story. Capricorn is the beginning of the earth element symbolism story in astrology. It says, it initiates earth element symbolism, so it initiates work, it initiates goals, so that we know, in a concrete way, no pun intended, what steps we can take to achieve our ideal outcomes as far as our physical security goes. And so, Capricorn initiates work, it initiates structure and stability. And the Two of Coins here, or the Two of Pentacles, talks about how, when you're just getting started with your physical resources, trying to figure out how to make them work for you in the world, first of all, you don't ever get to stop. You see that infinity symbol, that's sort of a green rope wrapped around those pentacles. You don't ever get to stop thinking about balancing your health and your finances. You don't get to stop thinking about what it takes to be doing well at both of those things. It's got to be on your mind all of the time. And then, we've got this wavy water in the background that says, that the emotions can go high and low. And in fact, the emotions can get high when the bank account is lower, when the health is not good. And then, the emotions can become more calm when the health is good and the bank account is up a little bit. So it's important to try to maintain a calm emotional perspective when it comes to balancing these things. Our health versus the work that we have to do, what it is that we want in turn, as opposed to what it is we need, or what it is that we'd like to get as opposed to what we can get. Okay, those are all things that are included in the balancing of opposites that's sort of unavoidable with this what do I want to say with this work that we have to do to maintain good support in our lives. So, there's a game of balance here at work. Rapid change has become the norm for us, right? The prices of things go up very suddenly. They can go up in a drastic way. The availability of things has shown itself to not be very good, right? We also have to be thinking about balance in terms of the things that we have that we say pay a mortgage or a rent on, or a payment on, like your car and your house. You have to make sure that you're getting the right return on your investment, right? There's a balance to be struck there between how hard do I have to work to keep this roof over my head and this car underneath my butt. So we've got to strike enough of a balance that we don't work ourselves to death, because without our bodies we can't have all those other nice things. All right, and with all of that said, we got the Two of Wands. Okay, so 2 and 2, I like that, and it's earth and fire. So earth and fire, for me, they always come together to make work, right? Earth is like the material that you use, and fire is the strength, it is the willpower, it is the action that we take to move the material around, right? So Here with the Two of Wands, we see somebody who has a couple of good accomplishments under their belt, and they're sort of thinking about the world and what it is that they've done so far, what they've shown themselves and the world that they can do. And then, it's time to just sort of embrace a trajectory and start and begin to plan, right? This is a person who's probably already been through the Ten of Wands a couple of times, right? You make your achievements, you build them up, and then you chalk them off to experience, and you go start a new adventure. And so this is about initiative. It's about getting started. It's about the will to act, like really feeling that will to act, that will to get up and do something specific in the direction of your culmination. Okay. And I think we've had the Two of Wands a couple of times lately. I know that it really has been reminding me of this Mars retrograde in Gemini. The Gemini itself reminds me of the Two of Wands, and you can see sort of the spokes there. You can see the two wands there. You can even see on the fence there are those spokes on the fence that look like Gemini as well. But Mars is the fire, Mars is the action, Mars is the will to move. Okay, so Mars is in Gemini and it is retrograde, so we're feeling a little bit of frustration. Mars in Gemini isn't at its strongest anyway because it can get pulled in a couple of different directions. It can tend to start we can tend to start projects that we don't know how we're going to finish. We can tend to have too many things going on at once, whereas Mars is really like a one direction sort of give me the task, I will complete it and move on to the next task. Mars in Gemini is like, oh, we have lots of tasks to do and we're going to try to balance them all somehow, right? And Mars retrograde in Gemini is like, yes, and I'm also uncertain about myself and my path forward, and I'm not certain that I should be taking on all of these different projects. And often the progress that I try to make is getting thwarted in some way. We're getting stopped and slowed down, right? So we want to understand that under Gemini, it's going to take collaboration to make progress. Under Gemini, it's going to take being willing to try things more than once to make progress. This is something that I've really been encountering a lot lately, is that anything, especially anything new, anything I try to initiate, Mars and the Two of Wands, it's like, okay, that was a good first try, but we're going to have to come back a second time around with a better idea, right? So, I'm going to have to go have a conversation with somebody who knows this a little bit better than me. And then I'm going to have to take that information and bring it up into a different approach so that I can eventually get where it is that I'm trying to go. Okay. So that's kind of the vibe of Mars retrograde and in Gemini. And that's sort of, where our sense of initiative in life stands at this moment, is right there. Now, today, the moon is going to be square to Mars. This afternoon, it culminates around 6 o'clock, so in the hours surrounding 6 o'clock this evening, moon will be square to Mars, and that can get us into a mode of feeling just a regular moon square Mars, not even retrograde, not even in Gemini, okay, and just a moon square Mars can get us into a feeling, because moon is the way we feel, impatient, competitive, aggressive, frustrated, restless. All those sort of Mars fiery attributes, the things that we don't like about the sort of mindless forward motion of Mars, right? The non-strategic forward motion of Mars that gets us in trouble sometimes. Our sense of initiative can get us in trouble sometimes, especially if we're feeling as though things are going too slow and we just want to get this done, right? So the good news is that there is a balance that can be struck here. Mars is also sextile to Chiron, and really will be until after Mars comes out of its retrograde shadow in early March. So this is a vibe that's going to stick with us for a few months. Thank goodness, because this is a vibe that really says that we can see the obstacles ahead of us and that we can surmount them, and that we can also find solutions to dealing with the problems that come up for ourselves, find solutions for dealing with the slowdowns and the backups and the the thwarting of our initiative at this time, right? I have a feeling they're still going to have to do with collaborating, okay? But they're also going to have to do with Chiron and Aries getting out of our own way, all right? Not worrying about what it is, that has happened in the past, whatever it is that has wounded us before and made us feel uncertain about ourselves, letting that stuff get out of our way, letting ourselves to get the procrastination out of the way based on like, I don't think I know how to do this, or I don't know, it's going to be too hard, or it's going to take too long, right? So Chiron is there in a very supportive role, in a very cooperative role, saying, yeah, we can do this, and we don't have to get ahead of ourselves. We don't have to be impatient or competitive. We can work with the flow of things, which right now is simply a little bit slower and a little more reliant on the help of others. Okay, so as long as we are, coming to terms with that within ourselves, going willingly into this idea of being less direct and a little more cooperative than competitive, then we're going to be just fine as we get through this just vibe today that is a little bit in the late afternoon, impatient and competitive, okay? And then taken together with the Two of Pentacles. So 2 and 2, I mean, that's pretty cool. It adds up to 4, which is usually like a take a break kind of card, one way or the other, right? And 4 sometimes also just talks about, often also just talks about structure. It talks about, being capable because of structural strength and integrity. And that's, earth and fire. We do work and we create structural integrity out of the work that we do, okay? By being reliable, by being dependable, by being solid, by showing up, and by being capable of doing what it is that we said that we would do. We build integrity for ourselves in our lives. And that integrity helps us, get a good balance on our health. It helps us get a good balance on our bank accounts, and it helps us get a good strong footing to make fresh starts for ourselves in the world. So, this really speaks to me largely of like becoming dependable and reliable, right? Leaning a little bit on your understanding based on the experiences that you've had, right? Keeping your mind on the things that you have, the material concerns that you have to keep your mind on, not allowing yourself to get distracted from that, and really, putting in the work and showing the dedication. That's what's going to carry you forward into, into the land of personal integrity and structural integrity, of safety and security in your life. And, just accomplishment of goals, accomplishment where you're able to build something strong that shows what you can do and that will last if you need it to last, that will offer value for you in your life. Okay, I think that's all I have to say about it, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate your presence here. My name is Mel Rose, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today and Tarot.